Hello everybody and welcome back to the final of the pre-elimination battles of the Tournament of the Old World. We're here with Jeffrey the referee in his finest red and black gear. I don't know, probably talking about how he wants to hide behind this tree during the entire battle. He's picked a good spot. As we go over to the final of the races involved in this, we have the Chaos Dwarfs. Today's battle is Astragoth Ironhand taking on Drazhoath, the Ashen of the new faction of the Chaos Dwarfs that were added not too long ago into Warhammer 3. Astragoth's force is a pretty decent frontline hitter. We've got some Chaos Dwarf warriors here, backed by some lowly goblin labourers, not slaves, labourers. Then with some rather hard-hitting and elite Infernal Iron Swarm. His second line include a unit of Hobgoblin Wolf Raiders with bows, another section of Hobgoblin Archers, and then some Orc Labourers behind them with their rather fancy spiked clubs. As his skirmish line, he's got a unit of Hobgoblin Sneaky Gits, Astragoth himself there with his exoskeleton armour, another unit of Sneaky Gits, and that rounds out his force. Across from him at the top of the hill, we have Drazhoath's forces. Now, Drazhoath is the defender in this battle and has the hill. His force consists of some Hobgoblin Cutthroats, a pretty standard frontline unit for the Chaos Dwarfs. Some Chaos Dwarfs with a set of great weapons, another unit of Hobgoblin Cutthroats. Over on his left flank, he has his own Hobgoblin Wolf Riders, or Raiders with bows. His rear guard line is a unit of Hobgoblin Archers, a Chaos Dwarf Warrior unit, and another Hobgoblin Archers, and Drazhoath himself is riding atop a Great Taurus as his mount, as we can see there. Both of these characters are melee spellcaster hybrids, so they're fairly effective in whatever role you need them, with their own access to their own spell lists, so they have their own abilities to cast, which makes them all rather unique. As we get down here, as the first spell is being cast, it looks like it's some kind of debuff. It's Curse of Hashut, which does damage over time. He's cast it on the Infernal Iron Swarm. Now, they're very tough. They have a lot of hit points per model, so I'm not quite sure whether that was the best spell to cast it on. In response, Astragoth is casting a, looks like a Vortex spell. Oh, it is. Oh, and that is a lot of dead Chaos Warriors, or Chaos Dwarf Warriors, with great weapons there. Bodies strewn across as the flames now wrench across there in the middle line. Oof, we've also got another big explosion there as the Infernal Iron Swarm threw their hand grenades and killed quite a few Hobgoblin Cutthroats over it. But 2/3 of the unit just disappeared in one great explosion as the two front lines are joined. As you can remember, the black banners are Drazhoath's forces, red banners are Astragoth's forces. We can see that the skirmish line have started to rain fire on each other's opposing lines as Astragoth here has gotten involved in the fight. A unit of Hobgoblin Cutthroats have been completely shattered there as Drazhoath and Astragoth immediately get involved in this frontline scuffle. Obviously the Great Taurus there with the lava and fire dripping from it as Astragoth and he start getting into the scrum together. But there's a solid front line forming here as we've got the two Chaos Dwarf warriors holding the line against the slaves and the Sneaky Gits. That's a lot of enemies for those two units of Drazhoath to have to hold off. But we'll see how they do throughout this battle. As we can see there, sort of one Chaos Warrior just got lamped there by an Orc Labourer. He's getting back up though as the fight continues. The rear guard line though, we can see that the Hobgoblin Wolf Raiders with bows have been hit quite hard by Drazhoath. And it looks like he's going to try and finish off or at least rout that unit. A unit of his own Hobgoblin Cutthroats have decided to rally, but Drazhoath has changed his mind and he's a bit confused, and this is bad because him taking all these hits, constantly it's all chip damage. It's taking him down slowly, hit by hit. But on the other hand, Astragoth is way in there. He's very deep into the back line, and that's not good. We can see though on the left flank of Drazhoath's forces, we can see that a unit of Astragoth's Chaos Dwarfs have actually now managed to completely rout both of the Hobgoblin Archer units that Drazhoath has been relying on for his own skirmish line, his own fire and damage over time. We can see that the Infernal Iron Swarm are just going to make very short work of the Hobgoblin Cutthroats that recently rallied. These Iron Swarm are an incredibly effective and tough unit. They can go up against the best of any opposing army, in any monster and the such, and it's not really much to say that they are just going to carve through these hobgoblins as they immediately rout and start heading back into the tree line. We've got the 2 skirmish line units there of Astragoth. I mean, to be honest, it's looking very much like this is an Astragoth victory, but over here in the back, we can see that Astragoth is actually on the back foot. He is being hit quite hard as that mount of Drazhoath is a pretty solid hitter, very good melee combatant. We can see Astragoth has got less hit points than Drazhoath, but Drazhoath, I don't know if it's just being in the trees here is having an issue with the animation or his ability to hit, but he's now tanking more hits from Astragoth than he's dishing out. And I think if it wasn't for the environment he was currently fighting in, he might actually have wrapped this fight up with Astragoth, but it's just costing him precious time as his own troops are few and far between at this point. Though, hats off to the Chaos Dwarf warriors of Drazhoath, who are holding the line. They have held firm this whole time, and they are just fighting to the bitter end against these this swarm of hobgoblins, goblins, and orcs, and other Chaos Dwarf units. There, they are really showing off that a Chaos Dwarf unit is quite effective, as a couple of spells get casted. Dark Subjugation being cast on the Hobgoblin Sneaky Gits. Poison there, obviously working its way through, causing all kinds of debuffs. But we can see that Drazhoath looks like he's getting close, but unfortunately the Infernal Iron Guard have gotten involved in the fight now. As you can see, the Infernal Ironsworn have taken very little damage, if any. I mean, they're only tired at this point. They're not even exhausted after all of the fighting they've been involved in, running around. I mean, their little legs, they're going to be running out of stamina fairly quickly, especially trying to run uphill. But it can't be much longer now. We can see, in fact, the bar has just gone full. The enemy have completely routed. They have surrendered the field, and Jeff has called this battle. So let's have a look at the stats here to wrap up. Now, Drazhoath had the high ground, but didn't make as much use of it as he did. But we can see that Astragoth's falls was 684 to 542, losses 235 to 424, 449 remaining, 118 remaining. So quite a clear-cut victory there for Astragoth. Although Astragoth himself was close to being killed, he did get 25 kills of his own. His units overall, barring a couple, which are this Hobgoblin Archers and the Goblin Labourers, all the others did fairly well. I mean, the Chaos Dwarf Warriors 114, the Infernal Ironsworn 85, and pretty decent numbers overall. On Drazhoath's side, Drazhoath did kill more of his opponents, but you can see that more of his units were very ineffectual. His 2 Hobgoblin Cutthroats, I mean, they were torn apart fairly quickly and didn't achieve much. Even combined, they only got 13 kills between them. One of his Hobgoblin Archer units only got 3, and his Hobgoblin Wolf Raiders got a single kill with their bows, which just shows how quickly they were overwhelmed by the onrush of Astragoth's forces. However, the Chaos Dwarf Warriors there that were in the scrum, right in the middle of the centre line, 111 kills. They certainly gave as good as they got, and even the Chaos Dwarf Warriors with great weapons, who were hit with that pretty nasty spell at the beginning, they still did alright with 44 kills. But overall, a solid victory for Astragoth as he goes into the final round of the preliminary battles before we get to the Grand Tournament of the World, and that will be Astragoth Ironhand taking on Zatan the Black. So we'll see you for that one next time. Have a good week, everybody. Thanks for watching. And yeah, remember to keep watching the skis.